Are you feeling overwhelmed and exhausted by the constant pressure of hyper-individualism? Or is this a term that you've heard but need defined?
In this video, we will reveal how our society's extreme focus on self-fulfillment is hurting our overall quality of life and making everyone miserable. I'm Dr. Dusty.
And I'm Ray. We believe healthy living doesn't have to be complicated.
It starts with a new mindset and education.
Join in on our mission of living better every day. Today's hyper-individualism is making life miserable for everyone. In the US, people view individualism in a positive light. Individualism symbolizes freedom, independence, and unlimited opportunity. If seen in this light, individualism is a powerful tool and remains helpful to everyone.
On the flip side, a new word is taking over American culture today, and it's called hyper-individualism. The definition for this word is still being ironed out, but according to Wiktionary, it means a tendency for people to act in a highly individual way, without regard to society. Or in other words, society defines it loud and proud as, "This is me."
Hyper-individualism, this is me, it still sounds vague, but here's how most people will break it down. Hyper-individualism is self-pleasing and has no interest in putting another one's interests above their own.
Hyper-individualism is emotional and inconsistent.
Hyper-individualism is driven by whims that change like the weather.
It is selfish and prideful, which stifles growth of any kind.
And because hyper-individualistic individuals are not accountable for their actions, they don't have the empathy and humility that are the two key components for long-lasting healthy relationships. Which, if empathy and humility are missing, that's a recipe for broken relationships of any kind, which creates a lonely, miserable life to live.
Culture is sending a strong message that it's important to be true to yourself no matter what, even if it comes at a cost, a huge cost.
So let's follow this belief set a little deeper. Where's the boundary of being true to yourself no matter what the cost? Sounds kind of dangerous if hyper-individualism is prone to being selfish, driven to change, and inconsistent. If you're applauded by culture to live by a standard of doing whatever feels good, where's the boundary?
Are we supposed to applaud the meth addict who passed out in the park and say, "Wow, he's really got it figured out. He's following his heart. Way to live out what feels good"?
Or do you applaud the spouse who cheats on his wife? You tell the devastated wife, "It's okay, you should just be proud of him. It's just a small cost he pays for following his heart."
Okay, maybe these two examples are over the top. But if you try to make sense of how to live purely for your own self-pleasure and not hurt those you love in the process, then that argument will fall short every single time. The hyper-individualistic mindset is disgusting. If I say it one time, I will say it 1,000 times. There's a huge difference between healthy independence and this destructive, "this is me" mindset.
The symbol of independence stands for maturity, hard work, making big sacrifices for long-term gain, putting your life on the line for your family, and courageously standing up against oppression.
It just takes a little misstep and boom, we start to justify putting our own hyper-individualistic needs above others. That is the human dilemma. The way of least resistance is always going to be more appealing than self-control. It's impossible to create any type of healthy relationship in a hyper-individualistic state. Can they have a relationship? Of course, but it's going to be toxic and manipulative because everything will have to evolve around them and what makes them feel the most comfortable. There's no relationship there.
Our fast-paced lifestyle often means that people are only strategizing for the here and now without much thought of the future. It's called the 80-year vision, the span of one life, where people aren't making plans to ensure financial stability for their kids or grandkids. Wait, kids? Oh no, kids don't even fit into the picture anymore. Too inconvenient. They're just living in the moment and spending their income and time on what makes them happy. That's it.
We definitely aren't saying that all of culture has taken on hyper-individualism, but we want to be on the offense and ensure health and longevity for the next generation. We need to be aware of what current pop culture trends are and how they are trying to influence us and ultimately our children.
Let's talk about how to be on the offense of hyper-individualism.
One of the best ways to fight against hyper-individualism is to find somewhere to serve, volunteer, and give back. If you don't have a family where each one of those things happens on a daily basis, there are plenty of ways to get involved. Churches, soup kitchens, after-school programs, Big Brother, any donation center, the list is endless. What are you passionate about? I'm sure you could find somewhere to volunteer that would support that passion.
If you're married, ask your spouse this question. Do you need me to do anything for you today? Get in the habit of asking your spouse this daily at first, so they don't feel like they're always telling you how to support them.
If you have kids, get them involved with tasks around the home if you don't already. Find somewhere to volunteer as a family once a month, or ask your church if there's an elderly individual who is shut in and needs some yard work done.
Please stop living tit for tat. This is a miserable way to live, but in a hyper-individualized culture, this tit for tat checklist can build up, and it's endless once you start it. For example, if you've been home all day with the kids and your husband comes home, you throw the kids on him and say, okay, it's your turn. You've been gone all day. Peace. Or you've been working all day and you come home and you plop on the couch because you've been working all day. This behavior will quickly cause short fuses in patience. It will be easy to start tallying up throughout the day all the things you've done. Laundry, folded it, put it away, lint screen, breakfast, lunch, dinner, kept kids alive, baths, potty training. I mean, it's endless. When your poor husband comes home, and what's his tally? I provided for the family?
This tit-for-tat argument crumbles real quick when it's put into perspective. There's no way it's ever going to be 50-50 in everything, but if you're accustomed to living this way, married or not, you are never going to truly be able to appreciate any relationship or freely give true service from the bottom of your heart. The other person is always going to feel like they owe you something, and well, that's a lonely, miserable way to live. So stop living tit-for-tat.
On any deathbed, the last thing that you will hear is, I wish I hadn't spent so much time with my family. Said no one ever. Not spending enough time with family is the number one regret.
Family is everything. So if you're single, get married and get plugged in. No, I mean, we're passionate about marriage and family, but we also know that there are so many ways that you can get involved in a community that will give you areas to serve, grow, and invest.
We can't say it enough. Family is everything. It's up to you to protect the treasure that you have. Culture is going to try and pull you away from everything that matters most. Family. And the crappy solution that culture provides is fleeting and won't last long. We have to fight the crisis of this generation with a solution. In order to create long-lasting results, we have to change the mindset with a shift back to family values.
We have to redefine culture.